Good morning. This is RCB News, and I am Ryan Bowler, and I want to get right down to the news at hand. I want to discuss a subject that's very important. And before I get into this subject, I want to first and foremost, right off the bat, say that this subject is dealing with religious matters. But the reason why, and so if you're not religious, I can understand why you wouldn't watch this video. I very much respect that. But me, myself, being a religious person, I feel the need to address this issue. The other reason why I feel the need to address this issue is because there are people who are non-religious that have made this statement about this, and it is not true. They need not be fearful of this. So therefore, I felt compelled to do a video on this subject to explain what is going on, what I believe personally is going on here. And that is this, as the title says, is the mark of the beast? My answer to that is no. Now, the reason why I say no is several reasons. The first is, according to the book of Revelation and the 13th chapter, it specifically states that in order for a person to receive this mark, one or two things are going to have to take place. Number one, you're going to have to renounce your belief in your God. So whatever religious belief you have, whether you are a Christian, whether you are a Muslim, whether you are a Buddhist, or whatever the case may be, whatever religion you believe in and whatever God you serve, you're going to have to renounce that God and accept the Antichrist or the beast or whatever name he's going to give himself at that time as God. So the question is that what's going on today? No, it's not. You're not being asked to renounce your religious beliefs. So that it can't be the mark of the beast. So you need not fear that. The other issue is that according to the book of Revelation, now the reason why I read, using the Bible is because, as a Christian, I'm expressing it from a Christian perspective. According to the book of Revelation in the 13th chapter, it states that you will have to get this mark either on the right palm of your hand or on your forehead. So it's getting this, it's getting this on the right palm of your hand or on your forehead. Are they doing it that way? No, they're not. Now, what is interesting about this is that I have had this discussion with former co-workers on the idea that certain computer chips or microchips rather can be injected in you through a hypothetic needle. They can do that. I've read of sources and historians that have stated that it can be done and has been done, where they've been able to inject a person with a microchip, either with their knowledge or without their knowledge. With their knowledge is the idea that they want to be able to have some type of microchip in them so that if they get lost somewhere, they can be traced and found easier. And that makes sense. Okay. But if oftentimes these co-workers have oftentimes attributed this idea of injecting a microchip in you with a hypothetic needle to the mark of the beast. Once again, it's not the mark of the beast. Okay, because in order for it to be the mark of the beast, you have to be conscious of it being the mark of the beast. It's not going to be a trick like, oh man, I took this or I did that, and oh God, I got the mark of the beast, I'm doomed. No, it's going to be a conscious decision. It will be a conscious decision to renounce any God that you serve and to accept the beast or the Antichrist or Lord Maitreya or whatever he's going to call himself at the time as God. Then it will be in the right palm of your hand or on your forehead. So no, it's not the mark of the beast. So I wanted to clear that up right up the front. However, I do want to say this. I personally believe that it is this. You know what I'm talking about. I can't say much of it. You know why I can't say it? Because I don't want to get this video taken down. But I personally believe that it is leading up to the mark of the beast. I look at current events prophetically. And when I look at current events prophetically, I look at things and I analyze them in my mind and I say, what does the Bible have to say about this subject or that subject or this situation or that situation in government or that situation in that country? And then I tie it into what the book of Revelation says or other biblical prophecies recorded in the book of Isaiah, the book of Daniel, and book of the songs of the Psalms, and I tie those together. So I do believe that these current events that are being initiated by the government is in fact leading up to the book of Revelation and is in fact leading up to the mark of the beast. I do believe that. And based on that belief, I want to read several paragraphs from a book that I purchased several years ago. It is called When the Lion Roars. Okay. And it is a reference to, the writer gives reference to the UN or United Nations supposedly trying to push for some type of universal, biometric, universal microchip or whatever being implanted in each and every person in the world by the year 2030, or something along that line. But I'm going to read it to you so that you know exactly what this is saying. And I'm going to read page 94 in this book, and the heading is titled "The UN Agenda 2030." And the author of this book says these words: in November 2015, a popular internet news website ran an article titled "The UN Plans to Implement Universal Biometric Identification for All of Humanity by 2030." So that is the title of this supposed mandate or push by the United Nations. Is this true or not? I don't know, but I'm going to read these paragraphs and then you decide for yourself. I personally believe that it is true. It says here, the author says, the article referenced United Nations documents touting the UN's highly publicized 2013 agenda, as well as promoting a leading biometrics company called Fine Biometrics. Note that company's definition of the science of biometrics. And I'm just going to read a portion of that particular statement from this company. It says, at Fine Biometrics, we focus on the technologies that measure biometrics and apply them to identity verification. Sometimes that means proving to a computer that you are you and are allowed to access your email. Other times it means law enforcement officers uncovering wanted crooks. Yeah, right. In every case, biometrics allows for a high level of efficiency and assurance when it comes to every transaction dealing with identity and credential. So that's the statement from the actual company itself, Fine Biometrics. But I want to read a paragraph or two from the author of this book himself. And he has some very insightful words. He says, so let's think about this for a moment. We have a one world organization called the United Nations, which is what they are, clinging to an impassionate vision of developing a one world government system. And that organization is coupled with leading biometric companies and world banking systems to employ the very largest technology to identify every single human on the planet. Without shame, Fine Biometrics claims the tracking technology will be used to trace, and he puts it in italics, every transaction dealing with identity and credentialing. Notice the word every. Do not let the swank of the claim pass you by. In other words, Fine Biometrics, which according to this article here and according to this author's information, is linked to the United Nations, who will utilize their technology to gain access to every individual and be able to trace every individual and every transaction by the year 2030. By the year 2030, they'll have everyone biochipped. And then when they have everyone biochipped, according to this information here, they'll be able to track every transaction and everything that you and I do. Now, I'm pretty sure most of us say, well, okay, they're doing that already. But imagine having this biochip or whatever this may be. Imagine having this biochip, because more than likely it will be a biochip planted in you, and having that ability to track every one of your transactions, everything that you do, far as spending and buying. Now, if you look in the book of Revelation, 13th chapter, says that those who do not have the mark will not be able to what? Buy and sell. I'm not now. Do I believe that this is the mark will be the mark of the beast? I don't know. Could be. Accordingly, it's supposed to take the goal is to get everyone biochipped by 2030. That ain't much. That's not long from now. What is it now? 2021. That's what 10 years from now. I mean, 9 years from now, 8 years from now. That's not long from now. Will it ever happen? I don't know. My prayer is I hope it don't happen. See, I believe God is the one in control. So they may be trying to push, United Nations may be trying to push this idea, but I personally don't believe it will happen unless God in his sovereignty permits it to happen, the way I see it, in my personal opinion. Okay? I want to read something else to you that ties into what I just read. This is in reference to a United Nations secretary by the name of General Ban Ki-moon. And he gave a speech in 2015 endorsing the United Nations draconian global vision. And I just want to give you a portion of that. He says, we have demonstrated that reliable biometric ID cards can be affordably be used on a large scale. It offers hope for the UN's sustainable developmental goal. Think about that. This is what he's saying. It offers hope for the UN's or United Nations sustainable development goal. How many of us have heard of sustainable development? Can we say the new Green Deal? Just saying. Sustainable development goal of getting legal ID into the hands of everyone in the world by the year 2030, with its identification for developing ID4D initiative, a development ID4D initiative, whatever that means. I don't know what that means. I'm going to close right there. But you see, based on what I just read there, that I personally believe that this attempt with the government right now, what they're trying to do, is leading up to the mark of the beast. In addition to the United Nations trying to get everyone biochipped by 2030, if in fact this information here is accurate. Okay. So I just wanted to leave that out there, and I just wanted to clear up some things that I believe have confused a lot of people. No, it is not the mark of the beast. You need not fear that. When it becomes that, which I believe it will, you'll know it, because they're going to ask you to do certain things. Certain things you're going to have to do. So you will consciously know, and you're going to have an option. Either you can get this mark and you'll be able to buy, you'll be able to go to the grocery store, buy, and go to the clothing store, go to Walmart, go to the convenience store, whatever you want to go to, and buy by simply swiping your hand or whatever. Or if you have a business, you can conduct business. Without this mark, you won't be able to do that. Okay. Now, can you put 2 and 2 together? What's going on right now with the government? Sounds familiar, doesn't it? If you don't go through this situation, some companies are saying, well, you're going to lose your job. It's not the mark, but I believe it's personally leading up to the mark. So I wanted to clear that up there. What do you guys think? If you have any comments, please put your comments in the comment box below. What do you think about this whole thing? Please put your comments in the comments box below. If you like this video, press the like button, share this video, and subscribe. God bless you all, and see you again on RCB News.